Happy Wednesday! It's teaser talk. Click that like, hit subscribe, going through the best bets for our NFL teasers and predictions. Again, Break the Board Sports, we're all about you becoming a better handicapper, not just giving you picks, but giving you trends and angles. Let's hop right into some teaser legs. So, before we start, let me explain the principle. 7-point teasers is what I like in the NFL. I know everybody loves 6-point teasers, but I want the extra point, right? I want the touchdown and the extra point. Again, too many block kicks, too many wild things go on, missed 2-point conversions. I want the full 7. To me, it's worth laying $1.40 to $1.50 rather than laying 6 points in $1.30. Again, units and juice take care of itself if you pick way more winners than losers. Then we have our 10-point super teasers. So everybody lets you play these. FanDuel, DraftKings. The best place to do them is offshore because you get a whole lot better bang for your buck, so to speak. But you can do a 3-team 10-point teaser at FanDuel, for instance, and it really helps you out because you can move the line 10 points in 3 games. You can even do more than that, but you only got to lay like $1.42 for a 3-team 10-pointer. So lots of great value. My first one here to focus on Thursday night NFL. Right. And so to give you some trends and some backstory on these, obviously Pittsburgh 15-5 straight up the last 20 meetings against the Cincinnati Bengals. When you look at this line, it's 5.5 Pittsburgh, and you got the money in the tickets are about split, right? So 54% of both tickets and money going to Pittsburgh, 46% of both tickets and money to Cincinnati. So very, very balanced there. To me, there's 2 ways to attack this. And I said I like 7-point teasers, but I'm also not going to play a 7-pointer just for the sake of it. And so what I mean by that is I'll play a 6-pointer when it presents itself, when the money looks right, okay? So a good example would be if I have a team getting 2.5 points. A 7-point teaser makes no sense because I'm at 9.5, and 9's a dead number. So when I'm running teasers, I'm looking at it, can I get through, everybody talks about 3 and 7, and I can appreciate that, and they absolutely are key numbers. But so are 4 and 8 and 10 and 11, right? And those are really the 4 I focus on because 3 and 7 are just no-brainers. So I think when you look at it with this one, again, Pittsburgh 15-5 straight up, but they're just 1-4 ATS their last 5 on the road, but 5-1 ATS against the Bengals. So when I look at this, you can do it one of 2 ways. I think the Pittsburgh have a lot of value in a 6-point teaser because you take them down to pick. If you wanted to do the Steelers at 7-point, now you're getting plus 1.5. I don't really think that's worth it. I would find somebody to dance with. When you have a 5.5 or 6, again, 7 doesn't really help you because 1's going to push out. Some places ties lose, especially offshore. And so I would look at the Steelers in a 6-pointer at pick. But the one I really love is I love putting the Cincinnati Bengals in a 10-pointer. Look, you're getting 15.5 points with that at home on a Thursday night short week in a division matchup where I really think Joe Flacco is going to be able to throw this ball all over the yard. So it's something I really like. So again, 6-pointer for the Steelers, 10-pointer for the Cincinnati Bengals is the way I think you can go with those legs. You got the Rams, they're laying 3, but now a couple 3.5s are starting to show up. Rams are 6-0 ATS the last 6 meetings with Jacksonville, 5-1 straight up. So they've really had dominance. 11-3 against the spread over their last 14 games are the Rams. 10-4 straight up their last 14. They've been absolutely incredible covering. But when you have a team plus or -3 rather, I don't really see a lot of value in swinging past 0. I like to try to stay away from that just as, you have to have rules, and my rules might not be your rules. But to be a good handicapper, there has to be limits of things you will and won't do. If not, you'll be willing to bet anything at any time, and you'll cost yourself a lot of money and a lot of heartache. But the way I look at this one, I think this is a close game. Look, Jacksonville's been hot. The Rams not only have to go to the East Coast, they got to go across the pond as this game's in London. And again, over there, anything goes. We saw that with the Jets Broncos. If you have a Jaguars team getting 3.5, A two-team 7-pointer putting the Jags plus 10.5, I think, is extremely great value. Look, I think the game's going to be a one-possession game, but here with 10.5, it could be a two-possession game. I think that's more than adequate. Again, the Rams coming all the way across the country here to London. I think the Jags in a two-team 7-point teaser is the way to go. Now, the Jags are getting 62% of the bets and 86% of the handle at +3. I would like those numbers to be a little lower. But again, we said here on a Wednesday, most of your pros have put their bets in. The public is going to start filling in their bets late Friday evening and through Saturday and Sunday. So I think when it gets to game time, you're going to see this be 50-50. Jaguars are probably going to be +3.5. I think you can lean on that for a win. Next game on the board, Raiders and Chiefs. And again, we're not breaking these down. That'll be on our show betting angles. We're just going through the teaser part of it. Again, my dog Duke, you got to excuse him. He loves Amazon Postman and any car that drives by. But Vegas at Kansas City, and Kansas City laying 11.5. And I absolutely understand Kansas City's been phenomenal, and they look like the best team in football again, winning 14 of their last 20 games. And 15-1 straight up their last 16 at home are the Chiefs. But I got to tell you, the Chiefs, they haven't really covered, right? 15-1 straight up their last 16 at home, but they're 7-13 against the spread their last 20. In Vegas, they haven't been very good against the spread, 1-4 their last 5. But against the Chiefs, the Raiders have hung in there. They're 4-2 against the spread against the Chiefs. They're getting about 54% of bets and 55% of the handle, and they're +11.5. When I look at this game, I understand, again, people falling in love with the Chiefs and what they're doing, and I can respect that. But this is a Raiders team that can run the ball, and they can drag this thing out. So I went back and I said, hey, Chiefs have beat the Raiders 8 of the last 10, right? And if you take that 10th game out, it was the Raiders that won. So 8 of the last 9 games, the Chiefs have beat them. Totally get it. However, I said, I want to look at the scores. So last year, 19-17 Chiefs, 27-20 Chiefs. Before that, the Raiders won 20-14. And then you finally have 2 games where, okay, they got over 18, beating them by 14 and beating them by 18. Then the Chiefs win. You got to go all the way back to 2021 when the Chiefs may have had their best team there in a Super Bowl run, and the Raiders were a god-awful mess, right? Where the Chiefs absolutely dominated the Raiders and being by 18. Other than that, they kept it close. So I think there's 3 great teaser legs in this. A 7.2 team teaser, the Raiders plus 18.5, give it to me. I'm all about it. The last 6 games, they haven't beaten the Raiders by more than 18. I'm getting 18.5. I love the Raiders. If I love them in a 7-point, I'm absolutely 100% in love with the Raiders in a 10-point teaser. You're getting the Raiders plus 21.5. That's 3 touchdowns, folks. Ashton Genty and the team, they're going to keep it on the ground. Max Crosby, he plays really good against Pat Mahomes. I get it. The Chiefs are going to win the game. But the Raiders getting blown out by more than 21 because you're getting 21 and the hook with the 3-team 10-pointer, I think that's extremely great value. And I'll go the other way. Give me the Chiefs in a 10-pointer, -1.5. Again, they're going to win the game. I get that part of it. But if you're telling me I got the Chiefs -1.5, I can lay with that. So again, 10-pointer, I love the Raiders plus 21.5. I love the Chiefs to pick. I also love the Raiders in a 2-team 7-point teaser. This one, I'm going to skip over the Dolphins-Browns game. I'll break that game down for the game itself. Nothing there for it. If you were going to tease when you have these games with 2 bad teams, I would always tease the dog. So the 6-pointer with Miami, I could see that happening 100%. Take me to the Patriots and the Titans. Titans just fired the coach. Tennessee's a mess, and Mike Vrabel's going back to Tennessee with something to prove. I understand it's a little dicey because the Patriots are getting 80% of the money and 89% of the handle. And I can guarantee you any gambling show you listen to, anywhere you go, you're going to hear that every sports book probably has New England tied to every teaser and tied to every money line parlay. But look, they're 4-1 straight up in ATS their last 5, and they're 7-2 against the spread head-to-head versus Tennessee. Tennessee hasn't covered a spread their last 10 games at home. They're 0-10 ATS, and they're 3-16 against the spread over their last 19 games, period. Listen, sometimes I said this last week when everybody loved Missouri, right? Everybody loved Missouri. And I said, listen, if I get Alabama -3 or at money line -150 in a situation against Missouri that's never won a big game, you got to take Alabama till proven wrong. Again, I'll do it with New England. Put them in a 2-team 7-point teaser. It gets you down to pick them. I think I just can't envision. I can envision a tough game, right? The Patriots struggled with the Saints for a little bit last week. I think they get right, and Tennessee's just lost. And more importantly in this one, Mike Vrabel going back home, he's got something to prove. Saints at Bears, and I'm going to toe the line on both sides here. Right now, Bears are laying 5.5. They're getting 58% of bets, but just 35% of the handle. Very public. The Saints quietly are starting to become a team you can actually rely on from a gambling aspect. Remember, how good a team looks and how good a team covers are two different things. Right now, the Saints, 42% of tickets, but 65% of the handle. Right now, Bears at 5.5, yes, no brainer. You take them in a 2-team 6-pointer, little less juice. Maybe them in Pittsburgh at pick. Maybe the Bears at pick with the Patriots at -1. Something like that I can definitely see. But I also love the other way. Again, when you're getting 10 points in a game and you can get over 2 possessions, in the NFL, there's just not a ton of blowouts. Again, the red zone, they have the witching hour for a reason. Most of these games come down to the last few minutes. Saints plus 15.5, I think, has overwhelming value here in a 3-team 10-point teaser. I mean, check it out. New Orleans, I get it. They are just 1-9 their last 10 and 6-13 their last 19 ATS. But the Bears, they play games close. Big Monday night win. They played okay, but it wasn't like they blew away Washington, right? They're 4-12 straight up their last 16 games. That's nothing I want to hang my hat on, though I do think the Bears are getting better as things go. Saints come in 1-5, Bears 3-2. But these teams played 2 years ago, and the Saints beat them. But more importantly, the Saints have beaten the Bears the last 8 meetings straight up. The last 8. So when I look at this, again, I know it's a different Bears team, but I'm not talking about the Saints winning the game, okay? I'm talking about the Saints covering 15.5, which is just an enormous amount of points. And also, spots matter. Lamar Jackson back for the Ravens. You say, well, what's that got to do with anything, RJ? Bears Monday night, big emotional win against Washington. Then they got to go on the road to Baltimore next week. And sandwiched in between is a Saint team where, let's be honest, they know they should win the game. Are they really interested in running it up? I'll take the Saints in a 3-team 10-pointer plus 10.5. Plus 15.5. Next one on the board, Philly versus Minnesota. Right? So right now, 69% of bets, 78% of the handle on the Eagles, 31% of bets, and only 22% of handle is on the Minnesota Vikings for this one. Now, Philly, 17-3 straight up its last 20, 14-6 ATS over that time. And more importantly, Philly, 13-5-1 against the spread the last 19 head-to-head with Minnesota. Minnesota, however, is 6-1 straight up at home. I think Philly is primed here. I know they've been struggling. I love Philly in a 10-point teaser. They're only laying 1.5, so you swing it the other way. You get the Eagles plus 8.5. I don't think you can ask for much more. I mean, take the spread out of it. If you're walking down the street and somebody said, hey, I'll give you the Philadelphia Eagles plus 8.5 in any situation, you would take it. 2023, they beat Minnesota 34-28, beat them 24-7 before that, the year before that. Again, I know it's swinging through 0, but when it's less than 3, I don't mind swinging that way. Philly plus 8.5, great value in a 3-team 10-point teaser. Another team, I'll go with the dog here. And this is actually from a straight up standpoint, one of my better bets of the week. Again, check out that show. It'll come out tomorrow. But the New York Jets are catching 1.5. And I get it. Carolina beat Dallas. Let's remember Dallas isn't that good. And it's the NFL. What happened last week doesn't really matter. The overseas trip for the Jets doesn't really matter because it's in New York, not a long trip back, right? But give me the Jets plus 10 plus 11.5 in the 10-point teaser. I think that's overwhelming value there with it. And along with that, a 2-team 7-pointer, taking the Jets plus 8.5. Again, I get what Carolina did. I had Carolina last week plus 3.5. They were one of my better bets. Carolina is 4-1-1 ATS their last 6 versus the Jets, and they're 4-1 ATS their last 5 overall. Jets have lost 6 straight games and are just 7-13 against the spread their last 20. However, we're not asking the Jets to win. We're asking them to stay within 8.5 and 11.5. Give me the Jets there on that lean. Colts and Chargers on this one. And I think either which way you go, I'm not going to touch on it long, but a 10-point teaser either way. Listen, you get the Colts plus 11.5 or you get the Chargers plus 8.5. This one's a no-brainer for a myriad of reasons. The other thing is it's going to be one of the better games Sunday. 2 really good teams, okay? Chargers 12-6 against the spread their last 18. They're the short favorite minus 1.5. Now I can get them plus 8.5. Indianapolis, we know what they've been doing. 4-2 ATS their last 6. This is a really big game. It's the Harbaugh Bowl. Quarterback of the Colts, Jim Harbaugh, almost took them to the Super Bowl if they come down with that Hail Mary at Pittsburgh. Y'all remember that in 94? But the Chargers, where he resides now, if I get the Colts plus 11.5 or the Chargers plus 8.5 in a 3-team 10-point teaser, I think either way, you're in really great shape. Giants, Broncos, I could make a case both sides for a 7-point or a 10-point, but I really just want nothing to do with this game. And here's why. I know the Giants, the way they looked at Philly, and they got some extra rest, and Bo Scatabo and Jackson Dart, and I get it, but this will be the best defense by far they've seen in Denver, right? Denver could run it up on the Giants here. Consequently, I could also see the Broncos screwing around and win this game by a field goal because Bo Nix looks like a bum, and the Broncos just have been wildly inconsistent on the offensive side of the ball. So I just want none to do with this. I will say right now the line is 7. Giants are getting 75% of the bets, 76% of the handle. 25% of bets and 24% of the handle are going to the Denver Broncos there. I want to focus on this one, though. Commanders at Cowboys, and I think the Cowboys are a great play here. Right now, Commanders laying 2.5, 51% of bets Dallas, 49% Washington. As far as the handle, 40% of the handle Washington, 60% of the handle Dallas. This is going to stay right there, closer to 50-50, as it's really a coin flip game, But listen, Dallas in a 2-team 6-point teaser. This is a hated rivalry. I've grown up in this rivalry as a Redskin fan. These games can go any mirror of ways. Give me Dallas plus 8.5. Remember, we talked about those 6-pointers. Maybe you like Pittsburgh pick with Dallas plus 8.5. Now, the 9-pointer, the 7-pointer doesn't make sense because Dallas plus 9.5, it's kind of wasted juice there, right? But Dallas is a good team to throw in here in a 6-point teaser because it gets you to 8.5. Again, I know people love key numbers 3 and 7, 100% believe in them, but it is shown 4 and 8 are just as important. And I love Dallas in a 3-team 10-pointer. Look, Dallas getting plus 12.5. This game, you could lose 21-10, 23-13, 27-17, 10 points, somewhere 7 to 10 points. I could see this game. I could also see a field goal at the end. If you're going to give me the hometown Cowboys coming off a loss at Carolina, right? Redskins getting an extra day rest. Go ahead and give me Dallas plus 12.5 in a 3-team 10-point teaser there for that one. Next one. Don't really like a 7-pointer either way, and you say you're not going to take the Packers? All right, if you want to put the Packers in a 6-point teaser, I can't really argue with you, but the Packers, they haven't looked like that same team that started out the season. However, they are 8-4 against the spread their last 12 matchups with Arizona. Arizona just 1-4 straight up. But I like even more taking the Cardinals in a 10-point teaser to 16.5. Can't really see the Packers running it up here. If you're going to give me the Cardinals plus 16.5, I'll take it. Wouldn't be mad at you if you put the Packers in a 2-team 6-pointer. That's a 425 game along with that Dallas game. Maybe you got Dallas plus 8.5 with Green Bay pick. Couldn't hate you there. I think you got a good play there. Sunday Night Football. San Francisco decimated by injuries. The line was 3. There's like 1 still out there, but most are 2.5. 64% of bets, 72% of the handle to the Atlanta Falcons. Only 36% of bets, 28% of the handle to the 49ers. And listen, 6-point teaser, give me the Falcons plus 8.5. 10-point teaser, give me the Falcons plus 12.5. Again, San Francisco decimated by injury. Atlanta 4-2 against the spread their last 6 versus San Francisco. San Francisco hasn't been very good against the spread over their last 15. 4-11, and then just 1-5 against the spread their last 6 at home. You're getting Atlanta plus 8.5. I love that with Dallas plus 8.5. And then the 10-pointer, again, the Falcons up to plus 12.5. Even if San Francisco wins this game, they're not winning this game by more than 10 or 11. I would be shocked if it was a 24-10 game. I know Atlanta, you may see some regression. I don't think they're as good as they looked against Buffalo, but I think this game is going to be a really good, tight game. It's going to come down to one possession no matter who wins. If you're giving me Atlanta with a more explosive offense, plus 8.5 or plus 12.5 in a 10-point teaser, I got to take it. Here's somebody I love for a 6-point teaser. They're 4-1 ATS their last 5, and they're 16-4 straight up their last 20 games. The Detroit Lions. You get them coming down to a pick. It's minus 5.5, coming off the Chiefs' loss. You can put them in a 6-point teaser, get them down just to win. I know they're playing Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. Baker Mayfield is my MVP at this point. He should be everybody's MVP. But listen, Tampa Bay is 5-12 straight up their last 16 versus the Detroit Lions. They've had a tremendous amount of trouble with them. Tampa Bay, they're getting 57% of tickets, but only 21% of the handle. Tells me a lot of public there riding with the Bucs when you have a high ticket count, low money. 43% of tickets, but 79% of the handle going to the Lions. I like that a whole lot better there. Again, Lions at home, I think, win this. Bucs 5-1, Detroit 4-2. Both teams 4-2 against the spread. Head to head, Tampa did go into Detroit last year and get that win, 20-16. It was a good win for them, but I think Detroit here in a revenge spot gets the bounce back. Give me the Detroit Lions at pick here in a 2-team 6-point teaser. I love putting them with the Steelers. I could see you putting them with the Falcons from Sunday night, plus 8.5. Dallas plus 8.5. So a lot of good teaser options in a 6-point teaser. New England, taking them down to pick. So a lot of different ways you can play it. Again, click that like, hit subscribe. Last game, Monday night doubleheader. Houston at Seattle. Seattle, 2-8 against the spread their last 10 at home. They're bound to get a win at home, and they're bound to cover at home. But right now the line is 3.5, and everybody's on Seattle. But yet I got Houston coming off the bye, getting 26% of bets and only 8% of the handle. Give me Houston in a 2-team 7-point teaser, plus 10.5, and I love them plus 13.5 in a 3-team 10-point teaser. I think you can tease the Titans a myriad of different ways and make a lot of money here with them this coming week. So I'm going to give you my best 7-point teaser of the week, my best 6-point teaser, and my best 10-point teaser that I like, and then we'll roll through all the legs on each and every game. The 2-team 6-point teaser that I like the most, I like the primetime Detroit Lions at pick with the Atlanta Falcons plus 8.5. Give me that for a 2-team 6-point teaser. If I'm looking for the 2-team 7-point teaser, give me the Jets plus 8.5 at home against the Carolina Panthers. And to go with it, I'll take their division comrade, the New England Patriots at pick. So Patriots, Jets in a 2-team 7-pointer. And then lastly, a 3-team 10-point teaser. Give me the Bengals on Thursday night plus 15.5. Really, really like that. Give me the LA Chargers plus 8.5, and give me the Kansas City Chiefs minus 1.5. That's my 3-team 10-point teaser. So let's run down through all the games real quick and give you the sides we like for teasers and the amount. Steelers, Bengals. Steelers, 6-point teaser. Bengals, 10-point. Rams, Jags. I could see the Jags in a 7-point or a 10-point. Raiders, Chiefs. Raiders, 7-point and 10-point. Chiefs, 10-point teaser. Dolphins, Browns, we got zilch for you. Patriots, 7-point teaser. Saints, Bears game. Give me the Bears in a 6-point teaser, but love the Saints in a 10-pointer. Eagles, Vikings. Eagles in a 10-pointer. Other than that, don't really want nothing to do with the game. I could see the Eagles getting up on the Vikings, but again, the Eagles plus 8.5. Love that. Panthers, Jets. Give me the Jets for a 7-pointer at 8.5 or a 10-pointer at 11.5. Colts, Chargers. We'll go both ways. Give me both teams in a 10-point teaser. Colts plus 11.5. Chargers plus 8.5. Giants, Broncos. We're not touching that game. I want nothing to do with it. Washington, Dallas. I like Dallas in a 6-pointer getting 8.5 or a 10-pointer getting 12.5. Green Bay, Arizona. Give me Green Bay at pick in a 6-pointer or Arizona plus 16.5 in a 10-pointer. Sunday Night Football. Falcons, 6-point teaser plus 8.5 or a 10-point teaser plus 12.5. Give me the Dirty Birds. Monday Night Football doubleheader. Bucks, Lions. I like the Lions in a 6-point teaser at pick. The other game, Texans, Seahawks. Give me the Texans in a 7-point teaser plus 10.5 or a 10-point teaser plus 13.5 as the line has now went to plus 3.5. Click that like, hit subscribe. Monday, we'll go over what our record was on the teaser show. You can catch our teaser leg show every week. Check out our MLB playoff show. We got betting angles for the NFL. Our SEC college football show comes out on Thursday, breaking down all the betting trends for every SEC matchup this coming Saturday. I'm your host, RJ Cash. God bless and happy handicapping.